back in the Bankhead this morning for our last scout of the year, I guess, since turkey season opens next week. Going to a spot we've been to before. We'll see what we can find. And another old scrape with a licking branch. This is in almost a saddle, not a true saddle, but borderline saddle. Scrape on a long finger ridge. Fresh track back there. We just came down this very steep point, wound up on this bench. I can hear water down in the bottom, so there's going to be a creek here somewhere. And there's the creek, and more like a stream. Not as big or as pretty as some we've been on. But the Bankhead is just a beautiful place. Another smaller creek feeding into the one I just videoed. On another bench here, on the other side of the creek. Not a lot of deer sign though. There's a bigger creek with the same creek is getting bigger, I guess. This is a very well-defined bench. As you can see, it's the bottom of a big drop-off. There's a couple of fresh tracks, but not a lot of rubs or scrapes. But they are using it some, and it goes on for a good while, a good ways. Whatever. We're down on a low spot now, and in the Bankhead, you're either going downhill or uphill. You're never on level ground, and we're fixing to have to go up at some point. On yet another bench across the creek from where we just came from. Got a fresh scrape on this one. And you can see the drop off here and the elevation here. So it's a perfect travel route for deer. On another bench, I say another bench, it's probably all been one continuous bench. You just have to cross the creek to keep on it. Another beautiful creek in the Bankhead. I'm sure this one has a name, but I don't know what it is if it does. Guess you can see that big ledge or drop off. I was wondering how come I didn't see that, and we were on top of it on the bench. Now we're on the opposite side. Well, the bench we've been on for probably over a mile is running out, and now it's time to make that dreaded ascent back up the big hill. Guess what we're doing now? Yeah, going back downhill, which means we'll have to go back up a hill at some point. Back on Another good bench. Across the creek. One of the many little branches dropping down into the big bottom where I'm assuming it would get much bigger. We're back down in the bottom, fixing to go uphill again. I wish somebody would tell me what kind of plants these are. I posted one last week, a picture. Had my grandson to ask, but I don't know if he got any response or not. There's a lot of them here in the Bankhead. We're headed back uphill now. And while it's pretty steep, we've got another pretty good beach to walk up on. So that'll help out some, especially for an old guy like me. We follow that bench, which leads all the way back to the top of the hill. Found this really good scrape. And a really big rub. And another old scrape. Fairly fresh track in it. Right on this bench that leads straight to the top. And another old scrape. And we just passed another small one that I didn't video. Made it up to this flat spot on top of the ridge, and a couple of scrapes right here together. See how it flattens out up here, almost like a plateau. Finally made it back to the top of the ridge, and we're almost in another semi-saddle, and here's a old scrape. Probably can't see the saddle, but it drops off right there. And if you swing around the other side, it drops off right there. Still not just a ton of buck sign, especially rubs. Well, we're almost back to the truck. Looks like we've done between 5 and 6 miles today, which is our second shortest scout. Our shortest was 2.9 miles. Our longest was 9.5. And in either 8 or 9 trips, we've done a little over 57 miles since deer season. And if we combine that with our preseason scouting, we've put almost 100 miles over here just scouting. And it's really paid off.